This is your boy Wonder, aka Mr. Sinister. Do me a favor and hit the like button on your way in. I have a very exciting video for you guys tonight. I have my take on a video posted by Wheat Waffles, or Honest Waffles, formerly known as Wheat Waffles, and he makes his assessment about the current state of the manosphere and his projection on what it may look like 10 years down the line. I have even though I agree with him a majority of what he says, I have a slightly different take on the conclusion of what the manosphere will look like 10 years down the line. So I'm gonna play a portion of his video, and then I'll do my own assessment of it. So I'm gonna start the video from about like right here. Now he goes ahead and he breaks down the different stages of the manosphere. I'm gonna like pretty much hold your hand and walk you through how most men will go through the path of blue pill to, ultimately what I consider the end stage of your manosphere journey. And it'll make more sense once I do my take of it. But let me be fair to him and play his assessment, and I'll meet you guys at the end of the video.
Who are blue pilled and do try to make counterpoints to the points made in the manosphere, but they are very far and few between. For the most part, guys who follow the blue pill are completely unaware of what the manosphere is, what these sub-communities are, and yada yada yada. So I just want to throw that out there. Anyway, now getting to the part you actually came here to watch, what the trajectory of the manosphere will be over the next 10 years. So that will put us to 2023, and in my opinion, as I said at the beginning, I believe that there are two possible scenarios of which way we will go. One of them is very positive, the other is very negative. So let's take a look at scenario one, and this is going to be a free market scenario where the manosphere is able to grow and flourish as it pleases, and guys can make their own decisions on what path they want to follow. And under this scenario, the blue pill will get a lot smaller, so it will actually be in the minority come 2033, sorry. So most people will stumble upon the manosphere in one way or another. They'll get the YouTube videos and they're recommended, and then they'll start to change their ways. So they're going to drop their blue pill ideologies. As for the red pill, I believe that will grow a huge amount as well. The self-improvement space will grow the biggest, I would say. The PUA sphere will more or less stay the same, but the self-improvement space I think will really grow, because I see, even as it stands now, I see so much content on TikTok, like this motivational stuff saying, get in the gym, bro, you need to get money, bro, like trade crypto, bro, like all of this motivational hype stuff, which is just chopped up and churned out, shoveled onto TikTok. Like the guy whose initials are AT kind of popularised that movement as well, the self-improvement space, which is why I believe that is probably going to grow the most out of the two red pill sub-factions. As for MTAL, I believe that will grow as well in the next 10 years, because a lot of guys will look at dating, they'll see that the state we're in, the trajectories that we're heading towards, the way that Instagram and Tinder are making it ever more difficult for average to average guys, and a lot of guys are going to look at that and they're going to be like, you know what, it's not worth it, I'm going to opt out, I'm not going to date anymore, like, I'm wasting my time here. Like, I could spend my time and money on other things that life has to offer. I believe that there's other paths to happiness that life can bring. I'm going to focus on sports, I'm going to focus on hobbies, golf, going abroad, travelling. I'm going to do other things that life has to offer. I'm not going to focus on women, because it just seems like a waste of time at the moment. There's, as the saying goes, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And finally, as for the B pill, I think that is going to go the exact same way as well, that it's going to grow. It's going to grow massively. And in fact, if I had to say, out of these three factions, what's going to grow the most, the B pill will grow the quickest, assuming the free market scenario, because the way that the dating market is heading now, it's undeniable the B pill has the most relevance and will only have increasingly more relevance the more things carry on as they are. Like Tinder, Instagram are recording record profits year after year after year. The user base is growing constantly every year. Like, online dating is the future, basically. And under that set of circumstances, it's undeniable that looks, height, your facial attractiveness are going to be the most important factors. And a lot of people would argue that it already is that way. So under those circumstances, I believe that the B pill will grow the most out of the three sub-factions. And the same goes for the B pill sub-faction of looks maxing. A lot of guys will, realise that dating is becoming more looks-based, and a lot of guys will recognise that and think, right, so I've got to try to improve my looks, I've got to try to give the appearance of being taller or improve my facial attractiveness, I've got to try to forward my genetics, basically, so women believe that I'm a higher value man. And I also think that AI will be a big part of that. I've even seen some AI tools floating around at the moment where you can literally change the shape of your face, your like the shape of your eyes, the shape of your jaw. So you can literally go from a 5 out of 10 looks to a 7 or even 8 out of 10 looks. And that AI tool has only been around for, I believe, a year max or 2 years max. And as AI improves, then it's only going to become a bigger part of guys trying to make themselves look more attractive on Tinder and on Instagram. Anyway, that's the first scenario. So under these circumstances, all parts of the manosphere are going to grow exponentially in the next 10 years.
Okay, so that's his first scenario. I'm going to interject with my own assessment of it. I'm basing it off, it's similar to his first scenario. So on my diagram, this isn't, each category is not its own individual thing. Most likely, you as a man are going to walk through it every single facet, every single stage of the manosphere, and then you're ultimately going to end here. This is my belief. You're ultimately going to end here at the end stage of everything, the MG. And I wanted to bring actually the horseshoe theory. I had a discussion with a friend of mine, and we were talking about the horseshoe theory, which essentially is like the furthest left and the furthest right. They curve like a horseshoe and they have an area of divergence. That's why I made my diagram look this way, because it's going to curve there. I don't have an argument yet for what the next few stages of the MG is going to be. But okay, let's begin. 70% of you will be right here in the blue pill. This is the part where, you think women are sugar and spice and everything nice, and you think, oh, I just need to be confident, I need to just be a good person, bring her flowers, give her attention, show her that I'm a serious candidate, and the Disney World fairy tale will manifest, and I'll get the woman that I deserve, and I just have to be a good person. Then, towards the outer rim of this, you start to hear these truths that will conflict with that idea. So, for example, you'll hear someone say, oh, nice guys finish last. And then you wonder, well, that doesn't make any sense, because in the Disney thing, I'll chase one person, and then that'll be the woman of my dreams, my soulmate, whatever. You'll hear something like, oh, well, don't give her too much attention, pull away a little bit. And that also conflicts with what you've been taught, because if you take a look at the Disney indoctrination, it's pretty much one guy spending his entire life chasing that one girl. So you start to hear these things that will conflict with what you're programmed to believe. Now you get to a point, not all men, but most, let's say like 20% or 30% or so of men will start to seek advice. They'll start to look out for seek additional information. So they'll realize that they're not being successful with the information that they've been programmed. So they'll go online and they'll try to find someone who can help them get girls or whatever. This is when the PUA community enters the stage. The PUA is, yes, it's part of the red pill, but I believe it's more separate than red pill. They do have areas of divergence, but this is more separate. So you meet these guys and they'll talk about, they'll talk about women nature, they'll talk about game, they'll talk about improving your looks, they'll talk about what a shit test is, what monkey branching is, what cold approach, all these things that you can apply in the real world, and then you start to see areas of success. Now, the categories that will lead you over to red pill, where they diverge, you're going to see things like looks, improving your self-improvement. So you'll see there'll be a strong gym culture. You'll see increasing yourself financially. There'll be a strong push to make more money, and that'll bring you over here to the red. Now, when you're in this red category, you'll start to implement those things that you've learned when they diverge, and then you're gonna get to a point, if you do it correctly, you're gonna get to a point where you're like, okay, maybe I should question other things. Maybe I should question the way that the world worked. What else was I misled? What else have I been lied to about? And you're going to even get to a period where you're going to go monk. You're going to remove women from your life, maybe from 6 months to a year, and then just focus on self-improvement, self-improvement, self-improvement. And this is evident in things like let's say if you go to Fresh and Fit, they'll have their panel with your top two women. They'll have their panel where they talk about crypto and increasing your earnings. They'll have your a panel where they talk about how to pick up a game, all that kind of stuff. They'll talk about how to get girls and how to pass their tests or whatever. So you emerge from this red section, and they're like, okay, I'm finally ready. I've doubled my income. I know how to talk to women. I know about game, all this stuff. Now I want to start dating. I want to find a wife, blah, blah, blah. So then these guys go to purple because they can never delete all the information and then go back to blue. They have to keep pushing forward. So they'll go to the purple pill category. And at this point, they're like, okay, I need to worry about my legacy. I need to settle down, get a family. I need to get married, that sort of stuff. Now let's leave the thumbnail here. Let's go back to red pill. Once you get to this plus and you're doing your self-improvement, there you can also go the opposite way where you can't make any money. That's possible. Not everyone's going to be the top 10% of men. Not everyone's going to be the top 1% of men. And that's a huge plus to women. Like every woman believes they're a 10. They believe that they should get the top 1% man. And you can be on your self-improvement journey, and then you understand that, hey, I'm not going to be the top guy. You can be on your self-improvement journey, and then you understand, no matter what I do, I'm not going to be 6 foot tall. No matter what I do, I can lift as much weights as possible and slightly improve my physique. But some people just genetically, they can't put on weight. They can't put on muscle like other people can. You can get to that point and then you're like, no matter what I can do, I can't change my face. I can, bulk up, but I can't change my face. I can't change my skin color. I can't change this one. And then that will take you to the black. This is at this area they have something called maxers. They're looks maxes, and these are people who are trying to still trying to get that marriage, that woman, whatever. At this category, they have a thing called the name eludes me right now. They have a thing called geomaxing. So geomaxing is something that's existed for a while now. Geomaxers are like, okay, well, I'm only 5'7", and I only make 45, 50,000. If I take my talents overseas, I go to the Philippines. Now I'm an exotic. I'm a top 10% earner in that currency, and I can attract women now because in the US or in the West it was difficult, but here it's slightly easier. So let me go to somewhere that's more advantageous for me. So now we're like halfway through the journey, and I hope you guys agree with me at this point. So now let's go back to the purples. Now these guys were successful from their teachings from the red pill, PUA, whatever. So now they're maybe like 30 plus or whatever, and they've improved their earnings. They know how to get a woman, whatever. And then they come to the conclusion, they're like, you know what, women in the West, I didn't work this hard to just settle for a woman in the left who are not feminine, who don't know how to cook and clean. They come with baggage. They come with children from other marriages, whatever. And then they're like, you know what, I as well am going to take my talents overseas, and I'm going to go to the passport route. So now everything is a progress. So now you have the passport bros who are trying to find that marriage, that commitment, such and such. You can also have the purple pillars who do settle down, who do marriage, and then statistically they'll probably get divorced. Statistically, they're probably going to be destroyed economically, half of their retirement, pension, all that ripped away. And if they're lucky, they'll get divorced maybe before they hit 50. That way they still have energy and they still have the capacity to, go out and earn. So let's say the people who are married, they're in the second marriage, and they're like, you know what, I'm done with women from the West. Now I'm going to go to the passport bros route. But sometimes they'll do like a mail order bride, which I argue that it's the same thing. You just don't want women from the West. Okay, now everybody is here. So now you have a scenario where you're dating somebody who you're unaware of their past. They have feminine traits. They cook, clean, all this stuff. But no matter where you go, female nature is female nature. So sometimes these guys who do the mail order route, they'll bring the woman back to the West, and then the typical the feminine indoctrination will begin. So they'll go to work, and then their co-workers will convince them that to cook for your husband and to cook for your family is something that's akin to slavery. They'll download social media, and then they'll follow like top 1% men, and then they'll feel that they deserve this caliber of men, and then they'll come back to you and start making your life more difficult, giving you shit tests, all this stuff. And you have the other men who will maybe find a pretty good relationship, and then they'll have things working. They'll know not to bring the woman to the West, and then they'll have a pretty decent life. Now, statistically, the odds of marriage, or I'm sorry, the odds of divorce are still pretty high. But it's definitely much better than to marry a Western woman. And you can come to the area where you realize that female nature is female nature. So wherever I go in the world, they all have access to social media. They all can monkey branch and try to find the bigger, better deal. There's still gonna be shit tests to varying degrees. And for me to be happy, I want peace, and peace can never be truly attained from women, because it's a bunch of emotional responses to thing, and you're trying to problem solve and reacting to logic. So men from here, they don't typically have to go this route, but this is typically how it happens. You end up going to MG, and I can't even say the entire word here because I'll get demonetized or whatever. So you have the men who will come down to this section. Now, this is what I believe is the final stage, and this is when things get interesting, because I believe that since the manosphere is growing and more men come to this conclusion, and YouTube and other websites, they're sort of like laxing on their restrictions on the manosphere content. These men will start to get more economic power in the form of maybe subscribers can now donate to them. There's more attention to them. The podcasts covering this type of content will increase. Advertisers will eventually start pouring in, which was a detriment before, because everything is run by money. If there's no money to be made from it, then they're more likely to pull the rug from it. If at this point, XXs will still get pretty upset about the content here, because it's in direct conflict to what they want. And once that happens, then there's going to be a subgroup available afterwards, because at this point, assuming that they didn't have a kid in this stage or in this stage, then the man's biological need will have not been met. So the need for sexual intercourse and the need to procreate will still not been met. Aside from that, everything else is met, meaning the person has economic resources that they attained most likely through in this stage. They're living well under their means, and they don't have to go to a club and spend $800 on a bottle and VIP. They realize that as a man, you are essentially a minimalist, and you don't need a whole lot to be happy. You don't need to go on shopping sprees. You're fine with the same couple pairs of clothes. So let's say even if you make like 55 annually, that takes you a lot further, because you don't have to fund a woman's lavish lifestyle. You don't have to worry about paying off someone's student loan debt, all that kind of stuff. Now, the only issue with this here is the two biological needs are not met. So what you hear often in this group is, how do I say this being friendly, is sex robots, they'll talk about things like that, and they'll talk about artificial womb as well. So, anyways, that's my segment of what I think it is. It's not like each individual category operates on its own thing, which I think can be kind of confusing if you view it that way. It's a road. Everybody starts off here, and then you know slowly progress into what I believe again is the end stage. So I'm gonna link Wheat Waffles' entire video here, so you can watch the entire thing, come up to your own conclusion. And hey, let me know if my assessment is different. You know, let me know in the comments. Like, let me know what you guys disagree. If you guys agree, disagree, all that stuff. And again, dude, we can disagree vehemently and still be friends. Like, I don't want you guys to think that, oh, just because we don't agree, it's not a big deal. So anyways, that concludes my video, my assessment of what I believe the Manosphere is going to look like. And yeah, let me know in the comment box. Like and subscribe, help the algorithm, because I get a lot of hate for this content. And love y'all boys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.